랑 그지 그냥 저 심지 지게 된저라 기지 대화용 고야기 대화용에게 아니 지게 고가 비어가 지리야 안델이야 네버기시 심전델이야 안지 소주발라 소바 제바이나 누구의 대화디 녀의 고가 말하지네 대화 매바 수고로 와서 지산 대화 냠지고 대화 녀의 매바 차고래 지산 디니기 신 디바 제바이네 디기 디바디기 아니 지게 말을 마기에 도와용 고 차고래스 지산 디네 차고이나 내 자주 셈발이야 안지 네버기바이나 네 자주 셈바디기 신리야 팬디 주위기 가소래 팬디 주위기 신심자 탐지 고외 동안에 야주의지 상유고방 투비치도 는 심자들 상예설로 고비치도 아니 전시심백이 냠는도 쓰는 거래서 지산디에 나와서 전시심바데라 신기 전전 주발이야 아니 지게 네버기와 있나 지산 심전 탐지 이 아니 띵이 되와 탈둑 상교고방 토백이 디기들이야 토발이야 바시지고래서 지산디네산 디와 빠도메 바사고래서 지산디네게 사고래 디네자 디네게 삼단지 내가 저기 전주심 전리야 네버기야리야 네 잼준지 바위된지像네버기야리야 잼고고래서 도 신념는 나고래서 그 생각도 되시로와.
Good evening. So in the verses we looked at last week from Shantideva's Bodhisattva's Way of Life, it was presented how if we obstruct someone from the accumulation of virtue, if we obstruct someone from accumulating the causes that will lead to happiness, this leads to us creating non-virtue. And all the more so if one were to explicitly bring them harm. But if one obstructs a bodhisattva, the non-virtue accumulated is so much greater because the bodhisattva is engaging in virtuous endeavors not solely for their own betterment, but in order to be able to benefit all beings, to lead all beings to attain a state of lasting happiness. So therefore, impeding a bodhisattva in their virtuous endeavors is something to be avoided because it harms all sentient beings.
나들이 마셔야지 데터로 동어 돕된다 장주 셈도 덴바다가 코르버 레기 제제나 아니 사도발라 유니 톡세.
So coming to the 11th verse in the 4th chapter. Thus, if mighty bodhicittas developed again, but mixed with the force of a prior downfall, one will still keep circling in cyclic existence, hindered long from the bodhisattva area grounds.
데터스 동어 돕된다 데터스디 디 강리양 저게 녀를 쉬루와 제사 녀를 가르에서는 가르슈바레라나 전주sem바 전주 셈게네 아니 전주sembe 줘발라 비인시비게나 전주sembe 동바송 아니 켈렌 담자제제 안도시는 송네 안 전주sembe게 동발anya 전주심 동바이나 아니 디베침보 사그레에서제 온디시네 그신데 강래 쉬루와 온디 데다라서 올 데다 디니엘 송반의 셰 유바나 신세 올 데다르사디게.
First, just this is translated to say the order of the Tibetan and English is very mixed in this verse. That being said, the first word though is the first word in English is the first word of the Tibetan. Thus shows that there is a continuation, a link to what has been presented just before. Namely that, having trained extensively for a long period of time, generating great love and great compassion, and generating bodhicitta itself, developing it further so that it becomes uncontrived bodhicitta, and then taking the vow of the bodhisattva. If the new bodhisattva then allows their bodhicitta to deteriorate or degenerate, then it will be a great loss and greatly non-virtuous. So that then is the link. This word thus links to what has just been presented previously.
디니게 전주sem게 전주sem비 동바송제 아니 디니게 전주sem 동냠바이나 아니 전주sem베게 자동세 중고로와 지사 동화디 디니게 동화디다 동화 똑단 템바레 세든 동화 안에 가소레 동화 똑단 템바 디바 안 가소레 녀바 슈첨부슈레 녀바 똑단 템바 녀바 슈첨부레서 동화디다 동화 똑단 대세데 동화 세데데 전주샘께 전주샘배 동바송 되네 전주샘배 전주샘 동화이나 전주샘배 자동 동배 자동 기고로와 제가 되니게 동화되다 동화디 배 녀바슈 첨부슈레서 그러 똑다한테 똑된다 서로.
So then in the English, we move now to the second line, the force of a prior downfall. This then refers to if one has, in the past tense, one's bodhicitta has been lost. So the bodhicitta has degenerated through either abandoning a single being or feeling that this attainment of enlightenment for the sake of others is too difficult, too much for oneself, then one loses one's bodhicitta. So this is the greatly negative downfall that is referred to here. And if that downfall, whose great negativity was explained last week, if that is not purified in the same life that one commits such a downfall, it will lead to rebirth in the lower realms.
mani nga song le kene de debu di nyong chan de dunga debu di nyong chan ne ani ya den zhe le kien je an den zhe de le la yang an ya je jiang shu sem ba dou den da jiang shu sem gom jiang shu sem gie je jiang shu sem ba dou de den ba de gie wa yong gu le wa so da jiang shu dou den da.
So whilst that is the case, staying with that, the first line, which goes for us English, thus, and then the force of a prior downfall, should one commit such a downfall, one will lose one's bodhicitta, and if not purified in that life, one may well fall into the lower realms in one's next life. But even if that were to happen, one would not abide in the lower realms for long because of the other great qualities one has on one's mental continuum, or that virtue one had accumulated before, and in particular, one still has minds such as great love and great compassion. So whilst one may have lost one's bodhicitta and therefore no longer a bodhisattva, one still has great love and great compassion. Therefore, one will quickly take rebirth from the lower realms. Sorry, and then, so that then is the second line in the Tibetan, our first line. Mighty bodhicitta is developed again.
Da jiang shu sem jian jiang shu sem dou dan dian ba yong gu le es ji zan de ne wa zan na ko wa re ge zhe jian na se ne ji zan ko wa re ge zhe jian na se de ko wa den na bo jiang shu sem jie jiang shu sem dong ba su nyam de ne ngan so ma jie de ne men ngan so le dong wa nyong wa de ge nyong cha de ne ya den zhe le jie de ga su le an jiang shu sem be ge nyam ne jie ba ro wa da ji zan ko wa le ba ko ro zhe jie ja se de du shi ne 네 레메 자체 차고 어두시네 제용레스 안데 데니기 제어도 제바인자 안 가르치기 그래서나 사도발라 유닉 토스 데니기 제사 장슈 양제 장슈 셈게 냠는 제바이네 장슈 심바 파베서 고방 토발라야 안 사도발 베 유닉부 고고레스 고고 제사다 사도발라 장슈 셈베 파베 고방 토발라 파베서 고방 토발라 유닉부 고바이나 데니 산지 고방 토발라데 데레 유닉부 고고로 하시래
So if we look then at the first two lines, then coming to the third line. Third line in Tibetan, which is the third line in English, one will still keep circling cyclic existence. And this also then is followed by what we have in the second line, but mixed with. So the meaning is, in the life where one becomes a bodhisattva, if one in that life, though, loses one's bodhicitta and doesn't purify that downfall, in the next life, one will fall to the lower realms. But because of the power of the qualities on one's continuum, such as great love and compassion, one will once again, quite quickly, be reborn in the higher realms. So in this way, we see that one will keep circling in cyclic existence due to one's bodhicitta being mixed with downfalls. And the result of this, now to the fourth line, is that one will be hindered long from the Bodhisattva Arya grounds. So therefore, because of one's spiritual process of spiritual development not being straightforward, falling to the lower realms, once again coming to the high realms and so forth, one's spiritual development will be greatly impeded. Therefore, the attainment of the Bodhisattva Arya grounds will be long delayed. And if the direct realization of emptiness for this bodhisattva is long delayed, then that too means the attainment of Buddhahood is greatly delayed.
Nadi dana karasangorasne deji nganu dangbo janju semge janju sembe domba sonruwa denege domba songche nyamlenjine janju sem dele manyambache nyamlenje rodu janju sembe pabyo goba toyade 타니 dele sanju goba do 타니를 차르고 와 다 denege nyamjene da denege janju semde ma nyamne no khol ma jewale da disu ma khol ma jewale ngasonle jewale dene disu ma go jogo wa dene ngasonle ya yangje an dendrole ya jewale dene dendrole ya jewale ne di dene ya jige nyamlenje dene jamni je gom ya janju sem shini gom go 세상 dene chine an nyamne che도 대시 다딩이디 바 지게 니가 janjusim dangbo janjusim ge janjusim be domba songje manyan ba je sangje nyamle che ba na janjusim be pabyo ko ba ta ni to go sangje ko ba yoga top to go re je le jizen dene ge nyam ba ina nyam je mao ba na ane ya du se janjusim nyamle je na ina je ba ina da pabyo ko ba to ba la ta rin wa re cha be ta rin bu che go re jizen dene za sangje ko ba to ba de le be ta rin bu che go re di ni di ba ka so re di 대가리 갈로 올 때 니티시오 컴퍼치고 엔지긴
The meaning of this verse in brief then is, having trained extensively and eventually generated aspiring bodhicittas, uncontrived bodhicitta, and then with sincerity made the vow of the bodhisattva, did not guard that vow well and allowed one's bodhicitta to be lost, then one's goal of attaining Buddhahood will be greatly delayed. Because when engaging bodhicitta was generated, in other words, when the vow of the bodhisattva was made, Buddhahood, the attainment of Buddhahood, the fulfillment of the goal of that bodhisattva came greatly nearer. But now with bodhicitta being lost, and then this being falling to the lower realms, and once again taking rebirth in the higher realms, this process of circling in cyclic existence is greatly extended compared to what it would have been if bodhicitta had been well guarded and had not degenerated.
nyamne zadung 중요해 jorwa denige zadung 중요해 denige janjusem ba 중요해 있나 janjusem 년바 있나 안데 체델이야 아니 맛이 공려야 소소 맛이 공려야 안 체델이야 년보 dob시고네 샤진에 디바디 다바 jorwa 디바 다제 디바 다네 되네 나솔게 먹어체 나솔게 먹어 가서 나솔게 먹어체 디바다 거선 디바 바 년보 dob시고네 샤 다제 단 다네 양게고 안 janjusem 년데 람 다이고 다가르치 걸어서 고 년뒤에 람슈두고 와 년뒤 차고 그래. 세상 두시는 년뒤에 롭정제 되는 년뒤 저 준비되고 톱 되는 년뒤 저 준비되고 톱선에 되냐 디젤이야 잠니 조금 자주 셈게 근데 자주 셈 톱다 된 밖에 와 중거리 해제되다 자주 셈 톱된다 세대 될 예, 톱다 중거리에서 대양 지발에서 그래서는 대신이야 전주세 만년바제 아니야 그도야 냠네 제바나 산지고 가서 전주스메 파비고바 토발라 타녀 델레데는 산지고바 토발라 타녀를 채고래 나데데 전주스메 반냠 nimbo tu ju ko ne di ba sha sa ine da nyan de lam ma ju lo ju de gyun bu go ra de nyan de da jin be ju bo top den ma jen ya jam ni ju kom de jan shu sim ki ya de da de le para da gyun bu shu jo go ba je san de ne ge ga sa di gi da jan shu sem ba di gi jan shu sim be ko ba pa be ko ba to ba le be go go ra du su shu go go ra je le ane di go ra je san da jan shu sim be pa be ko ba to ba le du su go wa ine san yu ko ba de to le di le ta re go go wa se je san da jan shu sim be to de da ane sa to ba la unique talk se de ne gi de le ya on du shi ne song na shu ya ji on go wa.
In a further way to understand these last two lines, one will still keep circling in cyclic existence, hindered long from the Bodhisattva Arya grounds, is that should the new Bodhisattva lose their bodhicitta, but they do apply themselves to the four opponent powers and thereby purify that non-virtue, they will not fall into the lower realms, but will rather enter into the paths of a hero and solitary realizer. So they will attain the Theravada path of accumulation and will be able to progress towards the attainment of becoming an arhat or a foe destroyer. So that is possible, but and therefore they will avoid suffering in the lower realms. But it will still mean that their attainment, the eventual attainment of the Arya Bodhisattva grounds remains delayed, because they are now first traversing the paths of the Theravada, and they'll probably traverse it to its conclusion, the attainment of the state of an arhat. And then there'll be a lengthy delay before they're once again sufficiently motivated to generate bodhicitta and enter the bodhisattva grounds, the bodhisattva paths. So therefore, we see that even should the four opponent powers be applied, and the practitioner not fall to the lower realms but enter into the paths of the Theravada, the attainment of the Arya grounds, the Arya Bodhisattva grounds, and therefore Buddhahood, will still be greatly delayed.
아니 제들에 님도 돕슈고네 마샤와제 샤모투바제 아니 간솔레게 되네야 야 된돌레 야게 깨와len제 장주셈 냠레제 장주셈 규레게 직제 되네 야 되네게 장주셈데 냠나야 체델이야 님도 돕슈고네 되네게 자동 디바디게 바샤제 디바샤제 아니 년데 람 냠레제 년도 자주 미주부 톱 되네 아니 장주셈 돕다 장주셈 돕다 된바세 장주셈 규레게 되겐 다 간살마서 직니도아 디니가 다 전주심에 파비고 고방 토발라 아니 윤르부 고거래서라 제가 윤르부 고반자 아니 산지 고방 토발라 윤르부 고와 인데 인소다 윤르부 고거래서 윤리도 사토발라 윤리 톡세데 다 디니가 전주심에 니가.
Thus we see there are presented three ways to progress. The first two refer to where having newly generated bodhicitta, this new bodhisattva, loses its precious jewel that they generated. And losing their bodhicitta, if they do not purify this fault, they will fall to the lower realms in their next rebirth. But because of the great qualities on their continuum, such as love and compassion, they will once again, with relative speed, take rebirth in the higher realms. But they have this obstacle within their continuum, this imprint of having lost their bodhicitta. And this will impede their regeneration of bodhicitta, and even when it's regenerated, will slow their progress along the bodhisattva paths. And thereby, their attainment of the goal of the bodhisattva, Buddhahood for the sake of others, will be greatly delayed. So that's one possibility. The other is also if the new bodhisattva loses their bodhicitta, but does apply the four opponent powers, and then enters into the Theravada paths, progressing towards the attainment of becoming a hero or solitary realizer arhat. Only thereafter, eventually, will they regenerate bodhicitta and will struggle then along the paths of the bodhisattva. This too then is a greatly delayed route by which Buddhahood, the goal of the bodhisattva, is attained. The third option, the ideal option, is for bodhicitta, once generated, to be well guarded and not lost, because this is the quickest route by which the Bodhisattva will develop all the great qualities required in order to become a Buddha and be of great benefit to others. So this is the quickest route to the attainment of the goal of Buddhahood, to generate bodhicitta and not allow it to degenerate.
dine zada danda ala dangbo ne janju semge janju sembe domba songje dilya ne bayu denje nyamma jubaje nyamsu lemba ina ne sanje pabyo ko janju sem pabyo ko ba thoyaleda sanje ko ba thobade ta nyawares da dine ge nyamjuje mohobana yajer janju sem gyule geje ane duchine pabyo ko janju sem pabyo ko ba thobadi deji nyamba dileshira 균화고 거래서 din이 나 균화고 거래서 좀대로 뒤숭어로 받아 나 이보디 din이디 되네 인자 되네게 인자다 금전 되네 인자 아니 돈다 알아 갈수로서 제사 당보네 냠마 주바제 아니 니 바위에 만년 바제 냠술 내야디 계시모래 해서 그러다
So the meaning of this verse then is that when bodhicitta is attained, it is the attainment of a goal that has long been desired, long been striven for. So this is a goal whereby a practitioner has a deep yearning to be of meaningful impact on the lives of others, wanting to ease their suffering, particularly help guide them to gain freedom from their suffering and attain lasting happiness. This is the motivation that leads to the eventual generation of bodhicitta. And then, with that determination, the vow of the bodhisattva is willingly made. Then that bodhisattva needs to rely on conscientiousness, which is the chapter that we are in, relying on conscientiousness to ensure that now this greatly valuable mind of bodhicitta that has been generated, but is still vulnerable, that it is well guarded and does not degenerate. Because this is the quickest route by which that practitioner will become a fully developed being, a being who can be of greatest meaningful impact on the lives of others. The other possibilities, they are much, much slower, of losing one's bodhicitta and circling to the low realms, back up to the high realms and so forth, or going by the route of the Tibetan paths. They are much slower. So one needs to come to hear this, so that from the outset, one is committed to developing bodhicitta and values what one has attained, but recognizing that it is vulnerable, and take good care of it so that it does not degenerate.
geje janjusim be domboso nyamba ine andade janjusim ge janjusim be domboso de sonum be lapchim bushibu saba inza dade nyamba ine mohobana yage janju jamni jogom janjusim geje ane dene sanjo gomo tuguru wasen bege samno yorwada dene inza nyanna dizege nyangas kyens mindukas mohobana de kokab yorwasen be samno yorwada 제가 dene yedim di samgyo maresura dondala dene go kokab mohobana dene kokab ragre shivu gogores 제가 shivu gogores sanji pabyo gomo tobola tarin go yunu shivu gogores sanji gomo tobola shivu yunu gogores 제가 dene yunu gogoben simjelya shen simjelya pembado pandodo ya simjengi nzimje sanji gopale kielya ben ji yunu gogores be gogop시고 yunu shivu 차고로 was dene 인상 당보네 많이 받지 고 바위에 엔셈디 랑 제진다 데니게 솔로 셈디 디초를 마다와제 바위에네 셈디 기회 가서래 전시심에 파연의 전시심에 줘봐 럽디게 삼바딜파 땡제네 냠는 제제네 당번의 도시 많이 받지야 디 계침보레스 제자디 디송거래.
So from the very outset of our training, as those who are still aspiring to enter into the paths of the Bodhisattva, we need to understand that whatever good qualities we are developing, that we need to guard them well, because they are impermanent, they are in danger of degenerating. In particular, in this context, the focus is on bodhicitta. So the good qualities that we are developing in the direction of bodhicitta, we must guard them and guard them well, and have the clear understanding that when we do arise as a bodhisattva and we take the vow of the bodhisattva, we need to vigorously embrace our bodhicitta, guarding it well so as not to let it decline. Because if one is not very clear on this, one may be overly enthusiastic as a bodhisattva, and in one's expression of the wish to benefit others, place one's bodhicitta in some danger, and thereby, without being conscientious, one could end up losing one's bodhicitta. So therefore, from the outset, we should know that I need to take care of this bodhicitta and not be deluded by the thought that when I become a bodhisattva, this will have come about independent from the accumulation of much merit. So even if I lose my bodhicitta, I will be able to generate it again. Because that is a mistaken way to think. Because whilst it is correct, one will have a further opportunity. Because of the obstacle in one's mind, one's regeneration of bodhicitta will be greatly delayed, and thereby one's spiritual progress will be greatly impeded. Shantideva continues in the 12th verse. Therefore, just like I promised, I will devotedly accomplish it. If I do not strive from today onwards, I will wander from low to ever lower states.
That data sin data vena so the gymsen shi horda deshi kang ya karso wachne janju sem ane jige dom janju sem ge domba song nyam je yangja ra janju sem ge bai ne ya sanjo ko ba thar phabyo janju sem phabyo ko ba thobal pe gyunru ko ya da sanjo ko ba thobal pe gyunru ko do as 제가 니네 금산 대인 자서 대다 왜나 대다 왜 대다 시대 제가 니네 균유 고고래스 제가 니네 인자 산조 고방 조부터에 고가 발라 하지는 균유 제가 고도 와서 니네 고야기 강아 되는 여바 있나 여바 인장 네 가르쳐 오래라나 디 강아 들에 말홍와 디 강아 데 마체 바지에 예치 모르겠어 그러다.
This verse again starts with a word connecting to what has come before. So the word here is therefore. So therefore shows that what is being presented here is going to establish with reasoning why we must ensure that we do not allow our bodhicitta to degenerate. So to be on guard for when we do become new bodhisattvas, not to be deluded, thinking, well, if I lose my bodhicitta, it's okay. It can be regenerated. It is impermanent, therefore I can regenerate it. And that is a mistaken way to think, because that will prevent one from being conscientious.
지다르 담자신 대대 지다르 담자신 수와 지다르 담자신 시도 대시 녀마다 당보 전주sem께 전주sem비기 domba송 전주sem비 아니 domba송의 값수 아니 가대 지다르 케랑배 담자 케랑바 시도 지다르 케랑바 시도 전주sem비 줘봐 바로도 심어 주다 뉴용어 보시라 랍기 있어야 돼 되네기 랍기 지다르 케랑 담자신 담자 바로 왔어 딘 나신다 케랑 남자와 나신 전에 아니야 아니 전주sem디 마냐바체 아니 그소 송고고래 해제다 지달 담자 신스.
Understanding then that when bodhicitta is generated, whilst if it degenerates, it can again be generated. That does significantly slow one's progress, slow one's spiritual development. Now the first line, therefore, just like I promised. Like I promised refers to the promise that the bodhisattva takes when they take the vow of the bodhisattva, which is the promise to engage in the various activities or trainings of a bodhisattva. Training in, for example, the 6 perfections, as well as the 4 ways to positively influence others. So this is the promise that one takes, and together with this promise is the commitment to ensure that one's bodhicitta does not degenerate.
Denegi Kelamba Nashin and Sungorasne, Dagi, Gube Drubarcha, Dagi, said the Dene Kelang hand, Janshu Samba, Dagi, so Jansuba Dagi, and the Gube said Chesada, Janshu Sembiki, Janshu Sengi, Payan Samda, and the Janshu Sembiki, Job of Horo de Shimudugi, and the Payan Samda, Chesandiniam so Lembaina, San Yokopa, new to Toptoba, then San Yokopa, Topic, Tablam, the Diniam so Lenamato, and San Yokopa Totu Mabata, D. That Nyamsu Lemba and San Yokoba, Top to Guba, Jiza Yundi, Punson Soba Yimba, Tongchen, Delia, Yakuresha, Sambigi, Gubaki, Guba Yakures, the new Gubaki, Yakuresha, that delighting in Yam Moody in the G, Sambigi, Zundukiada, Jiza Denegi, that's Ganga chair that the Nili do Kabla, and the same day, Rang Jizing, Samlo Talm, Pa, Sungi Pa, same to Pa, Gachi, Boy, Tianje. That the Niki Janju Simi Jubatilla, Love Gretty, Bekachimure, Sembig, some Naje, Copa Yutianje, and the Dilla Gubi, Janju Yende, Janju Simi Yenda, Janju Simi Jubigi, Labi Yende, Ditobala Dene, and the Chicken San Yokoba to Yende, Duchen sometimes, Yapores, Gubakin, then Bezuchin, Zundu Zomje, Bezuchin, Janju Simi Simi Juba part of the Chimba Jula. And Jubanyam Lendelia, Bezuijan, and Jubachore, Yam Jahore, as such. Oh, Chiga, Tagu Guber Chas.
Then, looking at the second line, I will devotedly accomplish it. So, this then is written from the perspective of the new bodhisattva. I, this new bodhisattva, I will strive. So, from the exclamation point at the end, this implies an imperative. So as if one is striving to do what? To ensure that one's bodhicitta, that the purpose of or the objective of bodhicitta is accomplished. That means one will be striving in the activities of a bodhisattva, the 6 perfections, the 4 ways of gathering, 4 ways of positively influencing others, striving this to benefit others. And thereby, one's bodhicitta grows in strength and will become stable. So in other words, the new bodhisattva will be striving to fulfill the ambition of bodhicitta, which is to become a Buddha, so as to benefit all beings in the most meaningful of ways. And to bring this about, the bodhisattva also commits to, through relying on conscientiousness, to guard against the self-cherishing mind, or grasping at oneself as dear, because this is a key component of the ethics of the bodhisattva, to develop their other cherishing mind and be guided by that, and not to be influenced by the self-cherishing mind.
That dede side da nyel sheba na je janju sim nyamzu le domba sung dene ba dong je ne dene gi lar yang janju sim nyam len che ba ina ya da pa bi ko ba to ba da san yo ko ba be yun ju bu go go yo ba yin za dang bo ni ne an nga ju ge janju sim ge domba sung ye ne ga su ji dar ke la ba ke ni nyam len ji gin se be ke len dam je je ba na xin ji ne an de le ya ba yu tian je ma nyam ba je ba yu tian an ji Janju Semki, Janju Semna, Joba Parod Chimudugi, Yamlendi, Pay, Yunden, Tonchen, and Delia Yapolis, and Gubakiada, and the Gubakian, and the Zundichen, and the Juban, Janju Sem, Delia, and the Chiku Jubanyam, Juba, Bezuchin, Juba Chewanyam and Chewores, Juba Jas, and Bezuchin and Yam and Chewores, don't that is more.
Meaning then of these first 2 lines is that having generated bodhicitta and taken the vow of the bodhisattva, and now having recognized the grave fault that follows if one doesn't guard one's bodhicitta well, and that this new precious jewel generated in one's mind, if that is allowed to degenerate, that will greatly delay our spiritual development, our attainment of Buddhahood. So therefore, I will fulfill the promise I made. The promise I made to strive to be of benefit to others through training in the 6 perfections and the 4 ways to positively influence others. And I will fulfill this promise by relying on conscientiousness and doing so with joyous perseverance, for taking delight in my training as a bodhisattva, taking great pleasure, and thereby striving to fulfill the needs of all beings.
냠네 초람도 되는 저라고 통람 곰람 되게 냠네 지사주고 봐 토도 차상 코로나 저기 다 전주심 냠네 집에 갑리야 삼로 따하도 되는 것도 곰제데 조금나 지금사다 디스 지금 최고래 지상 두스네 코로나 저기 갈리스 냠네 난 거라서는 두 삼로 가는 스탄 거라서네 두스탄 거래 저러다 근데 전주심 아니 가서래 다 전주심 냠바이나 아니 지게 에 지게 domba 전주심 게 안다 땡이 전주심 비 dom바슈 답에 냠제 전주심 냠주바 인다베 즉 전주심에 자동 보고 디버 돕친 휴사고레스 벤디버 돕치 보냐바 첨부 휴사고레스 다 녀바지 체델야 마샤바제 샤마투바제 다 나솔마기 게네 다 동안 용고야 차야다 되네 나야 나솔레 타르제 전주심 냠는 제바 이나양 산지 파비고 봐 전주심 파비고 봐 토벌베 유니부 고고 다 산지 고바 토벌베 유니부 고도 와스 다 덴데 유니부 고바이나 아니다 이 산지 고바 토벌베 유니부 고도 되네 자네 셴레 판도 주야레 베직 유니부 슈 차르 지자 샘제 동아에 나되게 되게 베 직강아 유니부 슈 되네 뇨야 레샤스 지네 덴디게 삼다제 은지게 유엔디게 삼다 덴디게 유엔디게 삼다 두신 삼당고고 등거래 제래 망조 투그르마다 나손 끼기레스 다 나손 끼네 라리아 전주심 규례게 공부 있나야 아니 밥이 고방 토벌에 빼 유니부 고고레스 termin 기심에다데 유니부 고고레스 안데 산조 고방 토벌에 유니부 고고레스.
Then to summarize the 6 lines that we've looked at thus far, when one enters into, or firstly, when one is aspiring for the bodhisattva paths, to enter into the path of accumulation of the bodhisattva, one will be striving to generate bodhicitta and then to make that bodhicitta stable so that it's uncontrived. Then one enters into the bodhisattva path of accumulation and needs to develop ever further through the path of accumulation into the path of preparation, then the bodhisattva path of seeing, meditation, and finally achieve the Buddha ground, the path of no more training. And to progress through these, or to attain the first of the 5 paths and then progress through them, one primarily relies on analytical meditation. So in the context of what we're looking at in these 6 lines, then what one meditates on is, or in analysis using reasoning, in this, from what we've looked at tonight, one reflects on the faults of not guarding one's bodhicitta and therefore letting it decline. The first fault then is that if one does not purify that non-virtue of allowing one's bodhicitta to decline, one will be born in the lower realms. And whilst, because one still has tremendous qualities on one's continuum, one will once again take rebirth in the higher realms. There still is, though, an impediment to regenerating bodhicitta on one's mind. This fault abides on one's mind. This means it will be greatly delayed before one enters the bodhisattva paths. And when one tries to progress along the bodhisattva paths, one will be impeded due to the non-virtue of having allowed one's bodhicitta to degenerate. And the key point to include in one's reflection is because this is in the context of either the new bodhisattva or the aspirant to the bodhisattva grounds, or the bodhisattva paths rather. One has at the forefront of one's determination the wish to be of benefit to others, to ease their suffering, to have a real meaningful impact on the lives of others. By reflecting, if my spiritual journey is impeded by not being conscientious and not guarding my bodhicitta, this means the others will suffer for longer. I will be less developed to help others. They will suffer for longer because of not being conscientious. This then serves to inspire one to guard one's good qualities closely.
Andine duschine nyabege chanshu sem tongwaina ane nyaba gyungi chode duschine gyundine chong duose bege samta da dine inza da chanshu sem nyamya di chanshu sem bege chanshu sem ki domba sone nyamya chanshu sem nyamya di kin ganis ligorasne da jike susuge nyamlen jeba da shengi shendu dubala te kanga teyo du dine jik oda dinge ji tusa mar sembele odile de rangi sosorang da 자준비게 되고 탑나 디도 선배 삼로지 리교로와 디네들이 냠고로와 제가 디네기 삼디 제가 디네기 디 삼로디 송고고르다 제가다 바이티인지도 나저 삼로디 디네기 강한지 디네기 지 소수게 생기 된지도 안지기 생기 안지게 마디바다 균제체하다 양치 소소랑에 된다 줌마도 강하가 셈 줌바다 어딜에다랑 다랑이 생기 된다 지투사 말에랑 아니 탈벽고 봐 톱네 지구도 샘비게 삼로 깨야래야 데니게 삼로 초소 마땅 제 샘디 디 초소 마땅 봐 데니 영향이 냥아들 봐 통진 디 균 호시 될 균다제 어디네 델파 삼로 마땅 삼로디 까 디다이다 까제 안 샘디 수 자주 샘 냠는 제야다 파신 주기 냠는 제야들이야 수 냠는 제야들 준주다 구바게 오거레스 지게 오거레스 지다디 바위에 댄세고다 바위에 댄디 다디데 샘 슌바다 셈 슌바다 랑 지징에 삼류 초소 셈 파줘야데 델리아 가 송제네 안주 셈 제주심베 냠네 쮸바다 제주심베 냠네 쮸바 냠네 자와 제딜이야 안 셈디 델리아 초소 준주지 냠네 제바데라 다 바이데 바세고 바이데세
Here in one's reflection, keep in mind the conditions that can lead to the degeneration of one's bodhicitta. And perhaps the greatest condition that can lead to that happening is the recognition of just how many beings there are throughout the realms and how dire the situation is for so many of them, that they are so impeded by their own deep ignorance of what are the actual causes for happiness and what it is that keeps leading them to suffer, that one could look at this and feel overwhelmed by how many beings I need to take care of, how many I need to embrace and somehow guide to attain their own paths of happiness. And therefore the great danger that one may find oneself in is feeling overwhelmed by the endeavors of the Bodhisattva, seeing that this is just too much. I need to take care of my own situation first. Because oneself by now has come to a clear understanding of the reasons why we suffer, our afflictions and contaminated karma. And thereby one can make the grave error of thinking, I'm actually going to go along the Tibetan paths first. I'm going to strive for my own individual liberation. Thereafter, I'll be ready to help others. But for now, I need to take care of myself first. Here, conscientiousness has not been relied upon, because the self-cherishing mind, that has arisen and has deceived one. Therefore, it's imperative that from the outset of our training, we are very aware of our goal as well as the possible impediments to the attainment of that goal. In particular, the self-cherishing mind, placing our own needs first. And rather through recognizing that the greatest purpose to strive for is to ease the suffering of all beings. This is living a meaningful life. Whereas thinking of fulfilling my own needs first and foremost, this is contrary to that, even though these are the paths of the Buddha. Rather, I should be striving for the paths of the Mahayana. And thereby we generate joyous perseverance to do so. And we do so by combining that or conjoining that with the other cherishing mind, where we hold others as dear. So in brief, we rely on conscientiousness to guard against any deception from the self-cherishing mind.
지당 먼저 넘기는 바위에서도 셈디 뇨모베 초소 송화데 파가시네 셈 개위 초소 송화 주바딜라 바유된 바스 바유식으로와 다디디 갑디 다 개와참 마임바 다 바유된 시리 전주심다 데니게 삼다제는 바유시다 데니게 셈 송야리아 죄바 가서 랑지신 초로 조야게 셈 송야데라 아니 가르 삼당고를 람나 전주심게 판연 삼다야다 전주심게 시비토네 다 파진 중에 냠내 제바이나 대산교고 모토비 규조와 안델레데네 전주심이 파베고 원 톱토바 델레데네 산교고 원 뉴도 톱토바 나 산교고 원 토바이네 델레데네 셴심제 탐제레 판바자 전부 두고요 봐 데니게 두시네 전주심게 연대나 판연나 아니 델레데네 베네 동반이 공바이네 전주심이 마진바이나 산교고 모토비 규체고 말 진바도 출연 쇠바 준주라서 반냠내 제바이네 전주심이 마진바이나 산교고 모토비 규체고 말 지산 전주심세디게 진비토네 대소 냠내 제바이네 산교고 모토비 규체고래 지산 심제 탐제레 판디도 규 나나메 바데 레샤 제자다 전주심디 기회첨부시오 지금 다 판연첨부시오시다 선배 데니게 전주심게 판연삼다 지산 전주심게 판연삼다데 다 디베베 약고르셔 디데냠는 제고 선배게 두진당아 덴티게 강한 체야다 이게 생긴 직녀바기야라서 받아 랑게 직냠는 집에 강하다 가는 시비네 강한 가지제 체베나 등이 다전 야 팬도리에 삼자 전주심도 반기니 르그메 선배게 삼다위 토네 두시네다 디냠는 제알이야 배준주배 가신 구이바서 가신 저신 구바 준주게 저 디냠는 제발로 준주게다 안디 아니 연den통배되는 구바게 배야고래 구바게네 딜이야 냠는 저 준주게도 디니도 보면도 삼다디 안 땅에 두시는 연대 삼다 두시는 삼다이도 라지신 삼도 바가고로 와서 두시는 아니 삼당고레스 두시는 삼다제 아니 주바냠네 제고레스 제자 전주심바 다데 졸람바도 통람바도 곰람바 디스 차상 전주심바 솔람이 내가서 두시네 곰 삼도 다지 냠는지 두시야 공바도 접제 야야 주고레스 지사 디니 니 콘주 전주심바 파베 가사디기 두시네 냠는지 조아레스 다 콘주 두시제 바레스 디나신 다 전주심바 레당부와 형수 냠는 지간 소이네 데니삼 다제 바유된제 아니 전주심베 파준주기 냠는 제알이야 배준디니 제고래 해서다 제시지와라 신비기다 랍중원에디 두송과 디레다 된다. 절래 전주심도 졸람바도 통람바 곰람바 여러 차상 초람 인내가서 디니 삼로 땅로 곰자바레스 디니 곰자지 거 이야기 침바레스 온두 제바 콘존 나신다 전주심바 레당보와 사보와 형소래 디나 콘주 제바는 두시는 삼다제 냠는 제고레스 제자다 바유 데니스 땡고고레 땡진데네 주반냠 제고레스 송거다.
This virtuous mind of conscientiousness, it serves to ensure that the mind in general stays on the side of virtue rather than straying into the side of non-virtue. So in other words, it helps ensure that wholesome virtuous qualities remain dominant rather than allowing the mind to become dominated by afflictions. So this is the function of conscientiousness. It helps guard the mind, staying on the side of virtue. So here the training involves reflecting deeply on the benefits of bodhicitta, those benefits we heard about in some detail in the first chapter of this text, and as well as reflecting on the trainings of the bodhisattvas, such as the 6 perfections, how that this is the route by which I will attain bodhicitta. And here, what one is doing is lifting one's mind through reflecting on the benefits of bodhicitta and the trainings of the bodhisattva that lead to Buddhahood, coming to take, generating joy in the trainings that lie before you, seeing the length of the path as being a journey of great joy, whereby one is easing the suffering of others, being of meaningful impact on the lives of others, so that even if the path is lengthy, that lengthy period, one is benefiting others in great ways. So in this way, one generates joy in the mind and thereby strength. Furthermore, one reminds oneself that all practitioners, whether their goal is the individual liberation that an arhat achieves or that of Buddhahood, need to engage in the same 6 practices of generosity, ethics, patience, joyous perseverance, concentration, and wisdom. But that these virtuous qualities can be developed to the point of being perfected within oneself requires that they are conjoined with bodhicitta. Then those same practices of generosity and so forth become perfections. This too then leads one to recognizing that I'll need to train in these same things, but by joining it with bodhicitta, I will perfect my own good qualities and therefore the beneficial impact I will have on others. So what one does here, right at the outset and at the beginning of one's training, is to deeply value bodhicitta. So to develop, for us who still aspire for the bodhisattva paths, to generate a deep yearning for it, and have this clear understanding that when I generate bodhicitta, when I get counted amongst the bodhisattvas of this world, I must guard this precious jewel that I've generated within and make sure that something of such beauty, of such value, is never lost. So in this way, through valuing bodhicitta, this aids our generation of joyous perseverance. And through conscientiousness, we ensure that we guard our mind from coming under the influence of the self-cherishing mind. We guard our mind from being deceived by self-cherishing. And furthermore, we can reflect that every bodhisattva has had to engage in this reflection because there is this potential for the new bodhisattva to lose their bodhicitta. But when a bodhisattva has progressed a little bit on the path of accumulation and certainly on the paths of preparation, seeing and meditation, they will not lose their bodhicitta because they, when they were new bodhisattvas and in the training prior to that, they had engaged in these reflections. So therefore, I need to continue to develop my yearning for bodhicitta and my valuing of bodhicitta.
That is dine zada chanshu sem nyamya di rang chizing samno jigle yodu dine dor chanshu sem di dor korwa rang chizing da kale susugi jika kangar che yodu da oda de ngi chi tupsa mare samidu dang rang ba che ba samda de oda ngi nga di jina ngale ya kangar shu che dang ngi chi tupsa mare sambe sam ge de yodu rang chanshu sem nyamya chi 긴 che korwa da dine ngi chi su dile de ngara na tarbe go phong 다 준비되고 톱네 탈비고 톱네 때 디기도 내가 말한 디 톱네 디기도 선배 삼는 게도 아니 전시심 냠도 걸어 제가 디네 인자 누시네 냠고래 제가 디네 냠고여 봐서 델야 삼다나 돌드나 지코 삼다 디네 냠바이나 니 동어 가서 용되는데도 세배되시다 공안선 깨워야 다 전시심 사이토야리아 탈비고 톱을이야 산요고 톱을이야 배 유니브 차기도 세배다 괜디게 삼다 괜디게 삼다네 다디 도초리아 안델레 유엔덴디 가sam다왔네 전주심 자주심게 셈게 domba 송제 데닉 제바인 전주심게 판연디게 빼바도메바 델레냠는 제바 전주심이 심베게 심베 토네 개wan 냠는 가르제베네 안산유고 본토비 규체고 제가 데 냠술렘발레 데네 파진주기 냠는 제바이나 안 전주심비 파베고 본 뉴도 토바 델레디네 산유고 본 뉴도 토토바 델레디네 샹레 파바 개체모 주투바 용구도 와스 집에 데니게 연대 삼다 데네 사다 파바이 띵여도 데네게 녜까가 간스 체베이네야 델양이 지게 셈디셔서 마다바 징이 페이지 전주 셈디 냠는 지긴 셈베기다 전주 셈비 연대 통하네 그바게 데니게 전주 셈 냠는 제발라 냠 심베드네 전주 셈비기 제발라 냠는 제발이야 준주게제 두신 삼다야디 다 바예 된제 두신 냠는 난고래 전주 셈바 파베 강사 차상 두신 냠는 나 조고래 지나자 전주 셈바 소람바 소식이 보관되시네 두신 냠는 난고고래 세데 두신에 다 도나니 보디 다 디레도와
For the new bodhisattva, the gravest danger is posed by their own consciousness on their own mind, the self-cherishing mind. It is that presents the gravest danger to the bodhisattva. So this needs to be recognized long in advance, so that one, in order to generate bodhicitta, will have been challenging one's self-cherishing mind. Then having generated bodhicitta, one needs to continue through relying on conscientiousness to guard against the self-cherishing mind making a resurgence. Because the way the self-cherishing mind can express itself in the new bodhisattva is that to place the needs of that individual, of the new bodhisattva, first and foremost, before that of others. It is that delusion that in particular the new bodhisattva is in danger of. And it's that delusion that could lead them to feeling, I will rather go for my own individual liberation, and turn their backs on others. So therefore, to ensure that either now, whilst we are training to become bodhisattvas, or when we are new bodhisattvas, to guard against the self-cherishing mind deceiving us and encouraging us to rather strive for our own individual liberation, the attainment of our own individual peace. We need to reflect on the various steps to generate bodhicitta again and again, including and especially the great benefits of bodhicitta. Recognizing that when we do generate bodhicitta and take the vow of the bodhisattva, I will then be rapidly approaching the attainment of enlightenment. But not only that, because of this great quality, this jewel of bodhicitta on my mind, as I engage in the trainings of the bodhisattva, the practices of the bodhisattva, I will be bringing so much benefit to others. Others who I've come to recognize are each and every other being has been my mother in the past, has shown me such care and kindness. And I have a responsibility to help them in their time of need. So therefore I must both strive to become a bodhisattva, and when I do, to guard this bodhicitta. And at no point should I allow myself to be deceived by placing my own needs, my own wishes for liberation first, but ensure that my motivation in all my virtuous endeavors is to ease the suffering of others. So in this way, by reflecting on the benefits of bodhicitta and holding all beings as dear, one uses conscientiousness as well as joyous perseverance to protect our bodhicitta. And knowing that by doing so, one is training just like all other bodhisattvas have trained. We are following in the footsteps of these great beings.
Janshi Semba Horon Zuge Nyamlin Dus Nangores, Janshi Semba Pape Kansa Dus Nyamlin Navare, Janshi Semba Le Tambowata, Janshi Sem Gula Kiting, Nyamlin Dus Nangure, Seda, Yesiwala Chimpigita, Janshi Sembalma, Lapjar, Sungrada, Dus Nangor, Janshi Sempigi, Janshi Semba Pape Kansa Dus Nyamlin Dus Navare, Janshi Semba Solambati, Nangore, Denigi Nangure, Sajba, Dus Lapjar Sungorwa. That is Janshi Sembalche, that is Di in Arozolia. Janshi Semba Jansul, Arozolia, Yamsliadida, and that is Lapjeti, Carlingo Goresina. Jeza, that Janshi Semba in a rang cheesing is some logic, Pa Delia, Bayu Martin Baina, Bayu Delia, never rang cheese and some lola, never dear. Dinner and the chicken shan cheese and some lola, and the Yundenchi. Bayu Timber, Martin Baina, Janshi Semba Yam Road was. Dina Shinda. Le Tambo around to in here. That jigger, Janshi Sembala dinner, Ganga Chibio Baina, Tang around in that Jibar, that Rang cheesing is some day, and the Gedina, Marang Yabuko, do Naki Wuko, do Naya Wachago, some Lotigi, and the Shelia, Ganga Teata, Nevikia, the Ganga Yungo, which is the Dins on Jugi, Sosungazi in a Tambone, and she ain't cheesing a some Pajik, Rang cheesing some Loti, Teniki Shukchemukevaina. The Kyun Garkar Yungu, but pass is some time. Shelia Pembe, some Tabaina, and the Chusolia, Yundin Garkar Yungu, but the some time, two Jene, Janshi Sembadiki in here. Shen Jibas with some of the rang cheese and some two sponge, and Shen Jibas with some of the D20, Yamliji Duchine, Janshi Semba Chatu Gore, Dine Pabio was San Yoko, top to Gore. There's other, and so running in here. Shen rang jizing samlo di madang ache, shen liya penpe samlo da ache, shen di penpe samlo di jigang tu zhugi sempike di, delia rang jizing samlo shukchimbo tabayne, digi yun dine yungu yobada samdaya da, shen li penpe samdayne, yun din pen rang da shen niga la pando dine yungu yobada samdaya da, dine yun din sheba tohne samdaje, ane gidi ine, 소치게 랑지진 삼로 졸이야 나에도 봐 송지네 근데 셴리야 펜버드의 셴지베 집에 삼로디 배쇄셰지 존주셰지 아니 전주 셴지진 삼로의 연된통 대래배 약으로샤선 구바게 아니 되니게네 대래야 냠내 제월에 소소한 배준 존주시는 냠내 제고를 해서 당 알아주게 냠슬해야지 두스난 고를 해서 just 주얼에 지금 알아서 랍지 딘난 거로 받아
Shantideva in the way I presented is explicitly giving advice to new bodhisattvas, those who are newly on the path of accumulation, the Mahayana path of accumulation, those who have newly generated aspiring bodhicitta and then taken the vow of the bodhisattva, and now engaging bodhicitta on their continuum. This is how they need to train. So the way for ourselves, as those who are still counted amongst aspirants to the paths of the bodhisattva, the way we should take the advice from Shantideva here is that we need to rely on conscientiousness, because without relying on conscientiousness, we will continue to hold ourselves as dear, to place our own needs first and foremost. And that will place whatever aspiration we have within us now to become a bodhisattva, that aspiration will decline. Our good qualities that will lead to the eventual attainment of bodhicitta, those will decline. So we need to therefore recognize the many faults that follow from the self-cherishing mind, and the great number of benefits that follow from rather cultivating the other cherishing mind. Recognize that right now, my sense of I, myself, is at the heart of all my wishes. I want, I don't want. This is always the forefront of what motivates me to do or not do something. Recognizing this, I need to strive with conscientiousness to change the situation, to change from a self-cherishing attitude to developing a genuine other-cherishing attitude. And this is done through reflecting on the faults of self-cherishing and the benefits of other-cherishing. And then conjoin that with a reflection on the benefits of bodhicitta. What we are doing then in this process is to open our hearts to the benefits of bodhicitta, to develop ever further our yearning to become bodhisattvas. And this is indispensable for us where we are in our training now, because it serves to develop our resolve to become bodhisattvas, our determination and our focus to turn away from the things that distract our attention and rather place our attention on developing our own inner good qualities so that we can be of ever greater benefit to all beings.
다들 자다 문에 랑 제바 짐베 삼마다지 셴 제바 짐베 삼당고를 해서디 나디 라요도 송요도 다 델이야 아 지게 노래하게 닝아 지요래 저도 랑 제바 짐교 말에서도 다 랑이야 통중 따야다 랑이야 디기 고고 말에 다랑 안지게 제와 지교 랑게 랑이야 제와 지교 말에서 비 삼로지 랑 지진 지교 말에서 삼로디네 코르시로 와니 말에 랑 지진 지교 말에서도 랑을 제와 마제 랑을 디기 마줍시고 말에 랑을 통중 따라고 말에 donda karso da rang jizin de jigyo mare labde xian ya ganga gare chebe ne xian gare china xie xin de xian ya wa de che ngara digi juna digi sabe odi sam da gyo mare zol xian ya wa de ne rang ani xian pam rang ge se samlo di odi jizin rang jizin se chesa xian le gare china xie xian di digi le ya wa de che rang digi juna digi sabe samlo di da gyo mare so rang jizin ma je se de.
Here, then, it's important that I remind you of a danger of misunderstanding that from this presentation. Because when we hear about the faults of self-cherishing and the benefits of other cherishing, there's always a potential for some misunderstanding. So we need to abandon self-cherishing, but this process does not involve at all looking down on oneself, or not valuing oneself, or seeing oneself as less or unimportant. It involves abandoning the self-cherishing attitude does not involve making oneself seem small or unimportant, small or of no importance. Rather, it is about changing our focus through understanding that in order to achieve the happiness we yearn for, I need to help others too. Through helping others, I will achieve all that I yearn for. Through easing the suffering of others, I ease my own suffering. Through helping others attain happiness, I will attain happiness. So what we are changing is our focus, because our current way of thinking that places the fulfillment of our own wishes first and foremost means we readily make excuses to push others aside. This we need to overcome by recognizing that it's through helping others we also gain benefit, we also attain happiness.
지난 현재바 집에 삼당 시대 현재바 집에 삼당에도 가르치고 삼당 거서는 소소라나 빼 야부차에게 삼당도와 지난 현재바 집에 현리에 편버 주기 지대 현리 판매 주기 된다라 나 전시세 맞지기 나 상기 지기서 제가 현 탐절에 초도 유바딩 아지기서 현 심제 탐절이야 롭딘 지게 lama shiki sikura. Jisa shen li kunzu li dambo yaga dinga susurang sikura da. Jisa shen jeba zizio shen yu duanda la ya, nge semjia tamji yu duanda la, janshu simu nyamle jiki, pachun zhugi nyamle jiki, janshu simu jeba la, dina sanju gupa toba jiki siru. Da sanju gupa toba li, dili lawa ji mero wada. Dili, jisa nge sanju gupa toba sani, dina nge semjia lamdi ji, chue dian ji, kunzu ya tingi sikura. Jisa shen jeba zimbe sambo digi rangyi 심전 탐지기 lama 제야다 본부 제야다 심전 탐지 현달에 랑 연된 초도 규버 주야디 디삼당 거와 지사다 디 데니게 연된 주야다 랑이 연된 초도 주버 토야 아니 소 랑이 누버 침보 소야디 디소야데 소소 디기 많이 봐 현래 펜버 주야치도 랑 누버 침보 소야 랑 연된 침보 소야 아니 랑사 요코버 토야 디 삼당 거와 지사디 랑을야 지사 디니 삼다도 랑기 ngay dini nyamlan chayade pe yakbure, ngay dini shanli jetu yakbure sosu boba kiyada, ane chige sosu boba kiyada, ngay dini nyamlan chiyo, ngay shanla dini pe yakba dili lakba chiyo marasibe, sosu la boba kiyada, sosu yundin daya, sosu kiyada, dini ki sanje kubwa to shanla pemba chuyade yakba shiguresa, dini samdayade sosu li boba kiyada, sosu li yundin toya, dini sosurangi shensimja 탐지를 펜버 주게 shensimja 탐지다 펜버 주불라 소소 톱 채워지기 펜버 주는 마도 톱 충화지기 채지를 펜버 주대 갈래가 보러 와서 랑 심자 탐지를 펜버 주긴다 심자 셴바들의 소소 연된 채와 톱 채와 뉴베 채와 소야 네 상예 심자 상교고바 토바지기 시대 지사 심자 탐지를 최대법을 라마 다 된바 상유전 좀된 나시지 수긴 시대 두치는 현지 삼다도 랑을 통주 따야다 랑파 먹고 따야다 랑을 교인 따야다 랑기 디기 차상 매워서야지 레미도 와디 삼로디 지산 현재 받으면 삼로 세 삼다이도 뒤 단달이야 랑이 배지 나나미 배대와 산지고방 토야 토비야다 네 어느 심지에 탐지를 최된법을 라마지겐 뭐다 아주기 본부라 라마다 데니기 지hen 제에게 삼다이도 지산 현지신 삼당고레시도 랑을 통주 따야다 랑 바뀌는 다야다 랑을 바베 냐자로지 레미도 하되네.
When we sincerely hold others as dear, cherish others, the result of that is that we will be helping them first and foremost. But in order to really be able to help others, I will through this training, spiritually develop. I will become a bodhisattva, and I will even become a Buddha. This is the outcome of placing the needs of others first and foremost, of sincerely cherishing others. Again, by sincerely cherishing others, through the development of all these good qualities within oneself will become the greatest amongst beings. Because it is through developing spiritually oneself that one can be of ever more benefit to others. And this wish that arises through cherishing others, this wish can be fulfilled. So this is how, by cherishing others, you yourself are benefited. Because you will become a great being. You'll become an actual bodhisattva. You'll become the most skilled of teachers by becoming a Buddha. This is what you will achieve by sincerely cherishing others. So from that, you can understand that any thoughts of, I'm not good enough, others are greater, I'm no good, any kind of negative self-view is completely misplaced. Because one is on the path to becoming a bodhisattva. One is engaging in the technique to become a bodhisattva and eventually a Buddha. Such a practitioner is not someone to look down on. This is a person who is coming to recognize their actual capacity. So through developing this outlook, one will also come to recognize, as one develops, one's human potential and recognize, I have all the conditions to fulfill this remarkable human potential. This then leads to ever-growing confidence, knowing that I can achieve this. Seeing the change within oneself, the development within oneself, this will give ever greater confidence and encourage one to strive ever further. So nowhere in this is there any capacity to look down on oneself or see oneself as lesser. But rather, through engaging in this process of cherishing others, of truly valuing others, wanting to ease their suffering, one will know that by doing so, to the extent you ease the suffering of others, one's own suffering reduces. To the extent you bring happiness into the lives of others, your own happiness grows. In this way, we start to recognize our actual potential, and we see that the bodhisattva paths are not just something that others can achieve, but this really is something that I in this life can achieve. So through thinking in this way, great confidence and deep inner strength arises.
Jizada randun ruya di shen chizing shen chebar zimbe samlo thone samlo tane digi thone nyamne chedu randun ngone de tuktu go da randun ngone de rangi do ngone gare man dingi dewa thobe de wa dunga le pa zhe dingi dewa thobe de wa jiza su su yuan den xi yun chi bo cha ya dunga zawo ji ne nyo mo ya dingi dewa thobe ya ne de da de wa jiza shen chebar zimbe thone shen le pembe sambe kunle na ji nyamne cheba ina 지사 라니 아니 코에 동안 살려도 띵이도야 대화토비야 산지고바 토야지 리그자 다 랑드 오마디 현재버쯤에 삼로데 냠는 제바나 랑드 오마디 주투고 라니 디기 주투고 라니 강안에 세투고래 다 랑지징에 삼로디게 라니 가라 디기 두고 랑지징 삼로디게 현들리에 펜버드에 파자 랑이던데 주투고 맞지사 라니 코에 동안을 주투고 말해 라니 가라 고고도 세베 찍지다 랑지징 삼로디 제도 안디기 욕라 먹불이야 다니네 네 세딜이네 강아 먹고 미 아스토스라는 게 섬다데 미션에 균주제 먹불이게 안디세 소소 콘라랑 그래 되네 디바사 그래 되네 샹리야 안데 진예주 다야다 샹리디 디빌야 먹부체도 되네 랑제바 랑이 디기도 랑제바진에 대화치 고도 삼로 디기 안데 가리거스네 디바사 녀모바게 디바사 디왕게 나솔 바게제 아니 동안요에 차고 제가 랑제버 짐비게 삼로디기 다 랑이기 대기 돼야 돼 대기 되고 할때 대기 요에게 잡라 제부 동안요에 돼 강아체 차고 거로 현제버 집에 삼로디기 현리에 대기 돼야 랑 삼마다지 현리에 펜바 바지 현리에 판도 지긴 집에 삼다도 니 대기 단단 뭐마디 소소레 대기 야주도 거래다 저기 디 동아제다 동세야다 안 탈바탐 지키고 도도 용거로 봐. 제가 현재징의 삼로디기 samlo de hele peba samdang warte dwenda de soso rangi digi shu yu tu yong korda na rang chi sin samlo de soso rang digi shanda le de ko ne na rang digi gu sembe de go warte digi rangi digi nge sabla na rangi kanga na long go re je de 제가 dini za du shine shen chi sin sembe yuen den da rang chi sin sembe yuen da du chen ne oda shen chi sin sembe yuen den tong yu du an del ya oda ji gu ba ji ya ba ya bo le sha sam gu ba ji ya da di nyam nen che ba la bi su chi zun ri shin tu gu re sa da ngang zu le lab jong ma di da di re da ngang zu nyam su le ya di da jun ju gi di gi chi di gi ngang zu gi da la len da ya di sam no di tang wa ya di re su da
When one thinks about the faults of the self-cherishing mind and the benefits of the other cherishing mind, when one thinks about this well, we come to recognize, just quite frankly, how stupid we have been up to this point. Because this self-cherishing mind is an expression of a self-centered attitude, whereby I want to be happy, I want to be free of problems and difficulties, and this motivates all that we do. And what is the result of this? All the problems we experience, the difficulties we experience, the suffering we experience, this comes from this wish of placing ourselves first and foremost. It's through the self-cherishing attitude, wanting to place ourselves first and foremost, that we engage in non-virtuous behavior. We justify things which otherwise we know are unjustifiable. And we do so again and again. This is how we create the causes to suffer. Whereas, when we recognize the foolishness, the stupidity of this way of thinking, we realize that it's actually by holding others as dear, by cherishing them, this is what leads to my happiness. But only where that is, we're not trying to trick ourselves, but by sincerely holding others as dear, cherishing, valuing others, do we benefit ourselves. Because then, when we value others, how can we act in a way that will harm them? How can we speak to them in an unkind manner? How can we deceive them, trick them, take advantage of them? It's just not possible. We value them, we care for them. We recognize our close and interconnected relationship. Therefore, we know our words matter, our behavior matters, even our way of thinking matters. This recognition comes about as we come to value others more, cherish them more. Our mind then softens and opens. We feel ever more gentle and close to all others, whomever they are. This has a remarkable change on our way of thinking, and thereby our speech and our physical behavior. This means our interactions with others, where we're valuing them, we're cherishing them, will bring them happiness, help ease their suffering, and thereby we are creating the causes for happiness. Our mind is ever more peaceful, ever more joyous. So this is how we should take the advice from Shantideva here, where we should take these promises that we've made, or we could understand this as the aspirations that we have developed within ourselves, these aspirations to become a bodhisattva. We should take those and devotedly strive to accomplish it. Putting aside all the various things of no value, no importance that dominate our mind and our time, and rather put our attention to cultivating good qualities within. And thereby, by training our mind in these good qualities, we can, by relying on conscientiousness, when we are in the company of others, we can ensure we're fulfilling their needs. We're not adding to their burden of pain, but we're helping wherever we can. And when we're on our own, to take care of our mind, so that when we're even thinking of others, we're thinking in a way that is valuing them, focusing on their good, focusing on their needs. So this then is how we should take the advice from Shantideva. Then thank you. We'll conclude there for tonight. Thank you.